Start.
Isn't that nice of you? Thank you.
We're trying to be respectful of everyone's time.
That's right.
Thanks.
I promise.
Chuck handed the microphone, handed his gavel to you,
I'll
but
catch
didn't
you.
shut up. What else is new?
So all right, guys, we are recording, yes?
But nothing from the last night.
We're recording, yes, Farrah?
Not the landmark.
No.
Very well. Okay. Welcome to the June 5th, 2024 exec meeting. Thank you all for being here. Okay. That covers welcome. Check. Roll call. Raise your hand if you're not here. Thank you.
Most of you are paying attention.
Let me get myself together. Someone do a roll call.
Margaret will do the roll call eventually.
Or whoever has the stuff.
Yeah, who's got the sheet? Pass it on.
Who's got the sheet? Pass it around,
There you
please.
go. This one? Okay, there you go.
Thank you. We have our chairperson has joined us virtually. Julie, are you there?
I'm here.
Are you able to give the report, please? Sure. The report, please.
Okay. First, I'd just like to say I wish I were there with you guys as a year-end thing, and congratulations to Farrah for making it 1 year with us. So the pizza is like a joint celebration, Farrah's anniversary and the ending of my first term. And thank you all so much throughout this term.
Cheers.
So my report, because I know Sergio likes to be quick, so let me be quick. Okay, so extraordinary circumstances has been discontinued. ADA board members, we have one on the board, may attend via Zoom, and they do count as a quorum. Ted Morris has not reapplied for the board, so he is no longer a board member. Lee Chung, thankfully, is home from rehabilitation, so she thanks everybody for reaching out to her. It was very nice for the members who had reached out to her. Regarding the special committees, the SCREE, the Hudson Greenway, I'm saying that wrong, right, Bob? And the veterans, and the veterans committees, they're all up for to be renewed. So the resolutions were sent out to everyone. Take a look at it, and we could discuss that. And there are two items that I would like to vote on. One of them is the September meeting in 2024. A board member mentioned that there was the presidential debate is on that evening and wanted to know if possibly maybe we should reschedule board meeting for that night. So I just want to know from the exec members, what are your thoughts on that, and if you are open to it or not open to it. So I throw it to the floor. Sergio, you can see the people better, so you can take it from there.
Certainly. So I guess the proposal is, do we move the September meeting? Does yes, Dr. Gomez.
How many holidays are there in September?
Labor Day.
Okay.
Jewish holidays?
I checked today. The Jewish holidays are in October. I checked the Diwali and other holidays again after September. I still will check again. I checked DOE calendar, and so far I'm just showing Labor Day.
So it might be helpful for the discussion. What date is the meeting currently, and what date are we proposing to move it to?
It's on September 10th.
Yeah.
And are there proposed dates, Madam Chair?
Well, we won't know until after the meeting, because look at the calendar. It will be a date that's convenient to all.
I was just going to add to that land use will have to move on that first Monday because it is Labor Day.
Not my day.
Not your date, but SCREE has already requested the last date of the month, September 30th. So if they move to September 30th, land use could move to the scree date, which is the first Thursday of the month, right? So then I will look again, but it would be towards the end of the month that you have available for September.
Okay.
Madam Chair, would you like an actual vote from the, executive committee on that, or just?
Well,
We don't kind of, because, we're gonna do the schedule over the summer. So we would need to know what September is now. So just by, who is interested in changing the date for the board meeting due to the debates? That's the, I think it's, what was that, Marty? I didn't
I
hear
would
you.
think as long as there's an open date, we should consider it.
Okay, so it seems that we're in agreement that if there's an open date, we move it. And Deb raised her hand, I believe, agreeing to that as well. If,
Okay,
although it's not a vote, it's a sense of what we'd like. In which case, we'll try to put veterans in for the 10th.
I was gonna ask,
Veterans,
can the committee take that date, though, if they want? That was my question. I know the full board doesn't want to, but
Sure.
can another committee
How
take
about
it?
aging that afternoon?
Soon to ask. Come on, we're in.
yeah. Okay,
okay, is there anyone in the room who's opposed to it? That's all I need to know. No? Okay, good enough. And then what we'll do as early as possible, we'll send the exec officers possible dates, and then this way we can firm up the calendar over the summer. Thank you. And then the last thing on the agenda is Farah received information, everybody received the letter yesterday about signing on to the New York City Council Homes Now plan.
What?
Farah, you want to talk
Plan.
on that?
From, Control Lander.
I sent it to everyone, I don't have it in front of me, I'm sorry, I have to look at it. Do you have that in front of you? It had the link to the presentation, there was a briefing on it, and they're asking for a letter of support.
It's for affordable housing, they want to put funds in for affordable housing is basically the gist of it. So we're going to sign on to the letter. I just want to let the exec know because we won't have time to bring it to the board. We just received the correspondence from them yesterday. And it's for affordable housing, to get funding so that they can build affordable housing. And they're looking for community boards and organizations just to sign on to the letter. It was sent to, we just received it yesterday, so Farah sent it right out yesterday. So before I sign on to anything, I'd just like to first advise the executive board and ideally the board itself, but it will be too late because our meeting is June 26th. So I'm bringing it to the exec board. For those of you who haven't read the letter, since you received it last night, I'll wait a day and let you guys take a look at it. And if you have any objections, you could email the board and myself.
Miss, Rosemary Ginty has a comment, has a hand up. Rosemary?
Maybe I read it too quickly, but I found it a bit confusing. I just want to make sure, who's asking? It's the group, the name of the group is asking us to sign, they're asking us to sign up. That's okay. Number two, in the description, it said the city council is in favor of this.
Mm-hmm.
So why do they need letters from the community board? The city council is in favor of it.
It was, just so you know, it came from the city controller's office asking us.
On the behalf of the organization, but
Correct.
the city council has already said they're supporting it in the budget and everything.
I think so, yes.
Okay.
I mean, you have it in there, you have to read further into it.
That's what okay.
Again, we can all review it again tonight and give our comments.
All right, Mr. Gelman seeks to be recognized.
Yeah. It came in late yesterday. I read the letter. The letter sounded like motherhood and apple pie, and then it encouraged you to click on a link for a video that was 30 to 60 minutes long, and I didn't have the time to review that. And it just reminds me of sort of all the City of Yes stuff that in principle are good, but there are a lot of details that we don't know. And I'm not comfortable with that, and I don't know, I forget the name of this, NGO, I think it was an NGO that, Controller Lander wrote his letter on behalf of. I'm not familiar with them, and I didn't get to see their presentation, in that link, so I'm not comfortable with approving it. You know, again, it sounds like motherhood and apple pie kind of things that we want to advocate for, but then again, we all want to advocate for City of Yes, and very few of us are really comfortable with the details.
Okay, that sounds good. Thank you, David.
Bob Bender.
Yeah, like David, I didn't have the time to look at the video and follow it all the way through, but I'm very impressed with the organizations that have endorsed this proposal. The video came from the Community Service Society, which is a highly respected nonprofit, but it's been endorsed by, I mean, the list of unions, aside from the Community Service Society, Habitat for Humanity, the unions that have endorsed it, UFT, the nurses of New York State, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, you could hardly put together a more stellar collection of nonprofits and unions that are in support. At the same time, I know the timetable is tight. They want a response by June 14th. I think it's totally different from City of Yes. Frankly, I wish instead of City of Yes, we had been presented with this as an affordable housing program, because it's much better. It relies on nonprofits in the community, such as the one that the late Dr. Calvin Butts had at the Abyssinian Baptist in Harlem. These are the organizations that know the community, know about houses that can be rehabilitated or maintained. I think it's a wonderful program. Personally, I'm 100% in favor of it, but as I say, if everybody hasn't had time enough to review it, then so be it. But I also wanted to point out that the chair of the Housing Committee in the City Council is Councilwoman Piorina Sanchez, who is one of our council representatives for Kingsbridge and Kingsbridge Heights. So those are my personal thoughts on the issue.
Thank you, Bob. Anyone else have any comment on the request?
Well, we could give it over the weekend and people can get to the board and myself by Tuesday. This way you'll have
Thank you.
time to take a look and read it, have the weekend, and then the latest by Tuesday.
So please submit all comments to the board office and to Julie no later than Tuesday, so she has that information.
And also if you could CC Rosemary too, so she's the housing chairperson. Well, you still have a couple more days, and that's it. And that's the end of my report. Please pass a box of pizza down for the other end. You guys have to eat that all and enjoy.
Oh, thank you very much for the pizza.
Pass it
That was
down.
very
You guys
nice.
gotta eat it.
No, we're not passing it down, sorry.
Right
here.
Bob's gonna eat it all himself.
Yes, exactly, it's like
You tell me that he's a glutton.
Forget it.
Okay,
Yes.
all right, we're moving on to the treasurer's report.
Would you be kind of pretending roll call happened?
Good evening, everyone.
We'll deem roll call checked off, signed in, or, I'm sorry, Margaret, what do you want to do? Everyone signed in. There you go.
Roll call first?
Ashore is coming ashore.
Talented treasurer, please.
Go ahead.
All right, this is the June treasurer's report.
Oh, yes. Let me get that on there. Okay. Give me a second, I'm sorry. Come on up. Hold control. Sorry, give me 1 second, it's sticking for some reason. What does it say? Hold control.
You don't have it open already?
Oh, let's see, no. Let me just scroll down here, and I'll do it here. And then I still have to share the screen, so give me 1 more second to do this. Sorry, it worked earlier. There we go. Share. And sharing. Okay.
Okay, directing your attention to other than personal services, we have $13,860 remaining. And the breakdown of that is in 1.1. Most of that is in code 100 for supplies, 11,871. Section 1.2, of course, there are no budget mods this month. 1.3, we actually have $768 encumbered. We have to take out for 1.1, where it says there's 10,000 in object code 499.
I'm sorry, 1.1. Where is it?
After the end of the budget period.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry, this will be removed.
Okay. There's zero in there. And finally, 1.4, remaining 1,076. Now, there is a residue for the codes, again, the OTPS codes, and our district manager, I believe, has a proposal about how to handle that.
Could I ask a question? In 1.1, you have $10,000 in code 499, which is not in the little graph underneath. Is that our cushion, or what is that?
Okay, we're gonna remove that line, because that was, from the month before, it's an error. There's nothing in the
We
cushion.
zeroed out.
You're so smart.
It's over, last month.
Also, we removed the buffer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions or comments? Bob Bender?
We do have a significant amount left in personal services, correct?
Correct.
And that's because I know we've been down one employee for a period of time. So that money is going to go back into the city general fund, right?
Whatever is not spent, but it's just, it's nothing that we have any agency first.
No, I understand. I just wanted to confirm that that was the case. Okay.
We can't buy a body for 20 days?
Not since the 13th Amendment.
Lincoln made that.
Yeah. Okay, any other questions? Thank you very much for the treasurer's report. District manager's report.
Okay, great. Good evening, everyone. Julie, thank you so much for the pizza. It's quite a treat, thank you. So, it is, as Julie reminded me, today is my 1-year anniversary. I've been here for a year. It's been a very rewarding year, very busy year. I've learned a lot this year. I will continue to learn. I am definitely more comfortable in the role, and I just want to thank everyone. It's been really a pleasure getting to know all of you as individuals and board members. And just know that, you know, I always try to strive to say that this office is here to support all of you, and we'll try our best always to do whatever it is you need us to do. I also want to thank Ardmere, who's not here tonight. He's also been with us for about 6 months now, and really has been a pleasure for me to work with, and I think we're a great team together, and we'll just keep working hard for all of you. So I just want to also mention, we're going to be doing a lot of, over the summer, we'll be doing a lot of organizing and reorganizing, and just thinking about how we could do things, best practices for next year. By end of June, we will have all the draft minutes on the webpage, will be updated to the final minutes. We've done a lot of it, but there's still some left to do, and we will be finishing that up. As you can see, we are ordering a ton of items. We're, you know, in the next week or two, we've already been ordering to spend against the budget. And a lot of that will be reflected in a couple of weeks in the next Crystal report. 'Cause a lot of it's being ordered and shipped, and now we can put it into pay, and that's when it'll be removed from the budget. We have done a lot of great events this year. We just recently did the North Riverdale Block Festival. It was a really fun day, really beautiful day, and we got to use our new tent, which worked out really well. And I want to thank everyone again. We do have some new items for the next event. We have Pride event on Sunday at Riverdale Neighborhood House, so that should be fun on the 9th from 12 to 3. We also have some more opportunities for people to volunteer at events in the summer for the National Night Out Against Crime in August, as well as I know we usually do the Marble Hill Houses Family Fun Day. And if anything else comes up, you'll definitely hear about it. As we briefly discussed, we'll be working on the calendar over the summer. And again, everyone, just reach out if you think of anything or any holidays you think we should be aware of. But we will work very hard to make sure we cover be respectful of a lot of the holidays that go on throughout the year. As I did recently held my last district service cabinet meeting this week, and I will follow up with the minutes as soon as I can on that, because there's some timely things on there. And then I just want to also bring to everyone's attention, we did a budget mod last month where we tried to account for where we're going to be spending the money out of which section. So there, now that we've gotten quotes and no actual numbers, there is a little bit of money going to be left over in certain categories. And I just want to propose, there's 4 categories: our printing expense category, contractual expense category, advertising, and maintenance repairs. I would like to propose just moving that out into the general 100 category, just so we have the flexibility to spend out the rest of that money without being restricted by the category. So that, in printing, it's roughly $700 to $800, contractual expenses $140, advertising was $551, and maintenance repairs was $250. So I would just like to we could do a final budget mod just to move it into the general 100 category, which means whatever we order, then it goes against that category. So that is what I'm requesting. And otherwise, it's been a pleasure working with all of you, and thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Good start. Any questions, comments? Bob?
As far as the budget mod that you suggested,
Yes.
we have to do that at the board meeting, right?
Well, that's the thing, we won't have time to do it at the board meeting. So I don't know how it works, if we can do it this way or not. If we can't, we can't. But this way we can move the money. We're not asking for any new money or anything like that, but we are asking to move it just to one other category to spend against it.
So you're suggesting moving it without going through a budget
Without-
modification? Because we have to do this by the end of the month, right?
Oh, yeah. I would do it, after discussion, I would do it immediately, as soon as we are able to do it.
Well, I mean, personally, I have no objection, but
What's the downside of waiting the board meeting?
The downside is we won't have time, then the money's gone. I can't buy anything on the 27th. It has to be delivered by the 30th.
How about,
Yes, David.
how about printing services? Can't we contract for printing services? We have several guides that we want to publish.
That's already,
They're all done?
we already did them.
Okay.
That's why
I
I'm
thought-
saying we got such a good price.
Okay, I thought they were in
Now we have
process.
money left over, I hate to waste it, and I'd rather just put it in the other category.
No, yeah, I just misunderstood that.
Yes, Rosemary.
Oh, I'm not having my hand up.
Rosemary.
Oh, I said Mary, sorry.
It's, it is a mistake not to do a budget mod, okay? That's what we do.
Okay.
We do budget modifications. That's what we do. Having said that, if we did the budget mod, what would you spend the money on?
I'm buying, still buying, no, I have lots of stuff. I have a new banner that we're making. We're doing new tablecloths we're reordering because we need more.
And none of those things can fit under the 4 categories that
No,
you...
if they could, that's why I would love to know if I can order a tablecloth against the printing category. I don't think I can. Maybe a banner? I don't think so. I don't think it...
It's a mistake not to do a budget mod. That's what we do.
Right.
Okay.
That's Rosemary's point, and I think between you and the chair, you guys
Okay.
will be able to figure out what can be done and how creative you can do it within the lines. But we're not gonna be voting here on this tonight, from what I understand. We don't do that.
If we did, we don't carry for the board.
First, I'm sorry.
Yes, Bob.
I think a little
And then Margaret.
creativity
Right.
in terms of, is the new tablecloth, fall under the category of printing?
Well,
I
I'll
wouldn't
try
say
it.
ordinarily, but then again, I wouldn't say, well, that's totally out of the question. So,
Okay.
yeah, I
Well,
mean,
and advertising, maybe or, I don't know, can be considered advertising, but I don't know if it's...
It sounds like Margaret?
Is it material? Is it a material?
Can you speak up, Margaret?
Meaning like,
It's a significant size.
what's the size of our budget? 250,000, 200,000 annually? This is 261, this is what, 3% of our budget? I mean, that's really not material. I think you have, I would prefer to see that we spend it down and that we can make use of it.
Right.
I don't think it's a material expense. They are small budget lines being moved. And so I would think that that would be a management decision.
Thank you, Margaret. Anyone else have any discussion on the DM report? Okay. Thank you very much, Farrah. We all had an opportunity to look at the minutes from April and May. If there's an issue, we will address them separately. If there are no issues, I will entertain a motion to have them passed in toto. Give me a second to let people let people know if they have a problem. Hold on a second.
It was in Kansas.
Got that. He made it. That's true. Okay, hearing none. Dr. Juliet Gomez moves that makes a motion that we approve both minutes. One resolution. Does anyone second that?
Second.
Second by Bob Bender. Any abstentions? Anyone opposed? All right, the minutes pass unanimously. Unfinished business. Is this the same as old business? Maybe it's unfinished and it's just not old yet. Okay. That's true. Old is, could be seen as a certain way. David, you look puzzled. Do you have unfinished business?
Are we skipping over committee reports and resolutions?
We did skip over that. Oops. Thank you, David. That's why you look befuddled.
I ain't crazy.
Not for that reason.
Not for that reason.
Thank you. All right, neither am I, but not for that reason. I am, but not for that reason. Thank you very much. Committee reports and resolutions. I'd like to start with the resolutions, if everyone would indulge us on that. I think our esteemed chair already spoke to the special committee resolutions. That's 1, 2, and 3. I assume if there was any discussion on that, we would have had it during the chair report. Any further discussion on those 3? Yes, Farrah?
Oh, no?
Oh, I thought you were, that one hand is like sticking up, so I thought it was like, I thought you were.
The Mary Gallagher thing.
Yeah, but she was like, but her hand was up like this, so I thought that was, all right, public safety. Could you please present your resolution or tell us what it is about, and then give us any other further reports since you're talking?
Public safety had one resolution, or has one resolution to bring to the board, and Kabbalah Restaurant at 3732 Riverdale Avenue is renewing for a full liquor license. 50th Precinct said there was no issues, at that location. Our committee approved it unanimously, and, that's our one resolution.
Any questions for Mr. Green? Seeing none, please continue with the report then.
And all I'll say is our next meeting is, the third Tuesday, which is the 18th. Will be our last meeting, and I wanted to thank Farah and Artie, who's not here, for just an amazing job with our committee, all year, and these guys are a home run for us, so thank you.
Here, here. Thank you very much. Any public safety related, comments for Mr. Green? No? No? Or yes? Shouldn't be negative. All right, thank you very much. Parks and Rec.
Hi, everybody. Good evening. We have one resolution, which is in support of the James Baldwin Outdoor Learning Center Community Garden Farmers Market. They've been doing this farmers market for many years now, since COVID. I think this is their 5th year. They were late getting the permission together. I don't know why it keeps giving thumbs up. That's not me. They were late getting the request in for a SAPO permit. And so it came to the Parks Committee. They needed to get the approval ASAP, and so the committee passed a resolution, and then Farah has informed the DOT that we passed the resolution. That basically it's the same farmers market that they've had for many years. They would the first Saturday would be on the 20th. It would be every Saturday until October 26th. Setup begins at 9 a.m. The market opens at 10 a.m. It goes until 3 p.m. and then they have a closing, wrap up at 4 p.m. We checked with the 50th Precinct. There's been no community complaints, and I just know that from living around the reservoir and that we often have volunteer days on the same day on Saturdays, that the market is just much loved and well attended, and so we gave our unbridled support for it. So that's what this resolution is.
Any questions about the resolution? Any comments? Seeing none, Deb, anything else to report from Parks?
No, we don't have a June meeting, so we have finished for the year.
Thank you. Land use. Land use has 2 resolutions.
I can speak to both of them.
Thank you.
I was at least at half of the meeting. The first resolution concerns a non-SNAD request for a house on Iceland Avenue to build out a kitchen area on top, 1 story above, so there's empty space in between a kitchen and their house. They came to us last month. We had 2 concerns. The concern was they had not contacted their neighbors, and 2, we weren't sure about the viability of an oak tree right next to the house. They came back with reports of neighbor support, and they buried us with tree material. I looked from arborist saying this tree will survive. I don't know what power he has, but so on that basis, it was approved.
Any questions about this resolution? Sarah?
A small comment, it's a little typo here. It should be from, not form, the Landmarks Preservation Committee.
Which line?
So it's the 3rd whereas, so we will correct that.
Second whereas.
Third whereas.
Third whereas.
What is the question there?
3rd whereas, applicant provided a certificate of no effect from LPC.
Okay, thank you. And
One is a little more, a little deeper in understanding, and I will tell you to this day, aside from Chuck and perhaps Rosemary, I fully don't understand what the average median income is.
Area median income.
The area median average income is. It is used by the federal government. It is required if a developer wants to get some funding from the city, state, wherever, they have to identify some apartments as being affordable, and affordable is defined by AMI, and AMI seems to be a totally nebulous. What does it mean? If
Using the building we've been involved in, on Riverdale Avenue, it's 130% AMI. So it's higher than AMI, and who invented that number?
And in some cases in the South Bronx, it's lower.
And the question is, what is this AMI supposed to do, since it doesn't prove anything if developers can
Choose whatever number they want as a bottom line. Personally, I have a co-op in Skyview. I pay less for my 4-bedroom apartment than Riverdale, than this new building is under AMI. So, Chuck has written this, and he certainly knows what he's talking about. He has complained consistently in this resolution, asked for the city to invent something other than AMI and use something other than AMI to define what affordability is. Because certainly what doing right now makes no sense.
Any questions? Yes, hold on a second, Daniel.
So, the actual resolution, though, is targeting, wanting the city to redefine what goes into the calculation of AMI, because right now it's including area codes in Yonkers, in Westchester, in the New York City AMI and Nassau County, which is inflating the number because they're not limiting it to just New York City. So he's, specifically, if you look under 1 and 2, on the second page, it's to redefine it only using New York City zip codes, in partnership with the federal stuff, keeping everything still okay.
So the question becomes, if AMI means something, then why do you have 150% of AMI or 30% of AMI? What is AMI? It's a joke then.
Well, that's HPD, they define, when they set it like the thing last night, like they'll lay out that we have this many units that are for 30% AMI, this many units for 40%, because they're different income brackets, but that number is still too high, because it's including like
Correct.
huge properties in the average.
Joe? If I may, I think AMI comes from the SMSA of the Census Bureau, the Standard Metropolitan Statistical Area. And I think that's how they do all their calculations. And unfortunately, they're also using it for the AMI, which does inflate it. And the SMSA deals with income issues and education issues, sanitations, et cetera, et cetera. So I think that's where it comes from. And so it's going to be a heavy lift to break out of that. And the other part is it is really critical because this, their percentage of AMI is how they get certain tax breaks. And that's really important to where the tax dollars go for other developments. So.
To the rabbi, what Chuck's really saying is this is so amorphic and so misused that the city council ought to wake up and do something more creative than just this nonsense.
Sorry, Rabbi?
The only thing I can say is that, having chaired the advocacy committee of Habitat for Humanity on this issue, good thing you're trying to do this.
Any other comments?
Don Quixote also tilted it with windmills. It is something that is controlled by the real estate industry, and it's again, making the statement is absolutely correct and right. However,
thank you, Rabbi. Any other comments on the resolutions?
I just had one thing I wanted to add. Maybe I missed it, but it didn't seem like, this seems like more of a housing thing. I know that it's used within calculating FAR and certain kind of affordability and stuff on land use, but it didn't seem like this proposal was coming from, like there weren't meetings to discuss it and like really understanding what AMI is, how it's calculated, why. I mean, David makes some very good points about why it's used and how it hinges on other programs. I think that, this is a good thing to dig into and to understand more thoroughly, but it just seems like the resolution is kind of, from my point of view, kind of coming just straight from Chuck to the board, and it maybe would be better if it was vetted and discussed more.
Not coming just from Chuck. The committee has discussed this month after month after month. So it's
Fully vetted within the committee.
Thank you. Any other comments on the resolution? Any other report from land use?
Just a heads up that anyone who would like to attend by Zoom or whatever, we are meeting next Monday on City of Yes.
Or as Chuck would say, City of Yes.
Chuck, it makes no sense to me.
City of Yes, the housing.
It's a special committee, it's maybe
Thank you.
not land use, but a
The
special
special
committee.
And from the two others that came before this,
This is the first time I know of people who have objected to the first two, but this is the first time I saw.
person after person that are hearing actually speak out. So it has more of a resonance.
With the residents.
This came up. And so it should be of interest for anyone.
Thank you. Margaret?
Will that meeting take the place of any other land use meeting in June?
Correct.
The land use meeting took place
Last night.
Oh, I see.
Thank you. Any other, Rosemary?
Notice the board voted on a special committee for 7 people, so so land use would not be doing the resolution on this. The special committee will be doing the resolution.
AMI?
Yeah, and
No,
I'm sorry.
City of Yes.
No, yeah, we've gone on to the City of Yes, I'm sorry.
This
That's
is
what I thought you
land
were
use.
talking about.
If that was taking the place, I didn't realize that the meeting was happening. Okay.
Okay. Any other questions for land use? No, thank you. I believe those are the last resolutions, correct?
I have one non-resolution, which is my fault for not getting it out. We voted unanimously on Monday night.
To send letters, but the letter that I sent out indicates that it's not an official letter until the board votes.
So to keep you in suspense a little bit longer, a state senator in Manhattan had this idea, and he brought it before the committee in Albany, and according to our party, it passed the committee, so it should be going to legislature shortly. He is recommending that community boards have a great,
50 members have a great difficulty
getting a majority quorum, and therefore be better, in his view,
to have a 1/4 member of the presence to qualify as a quorum.
So if we had 50 people on the board,
25 people, 12 and a half people would be sufficient to have a quorum. What prompted us is a letter that came from the
City Club, as long as Bob's concerned about,
who supports this or not, they protesting
that a minor number of 12 and a half people is insufficient in a community, we're discussing things of major import. And so I have written on behalf of the committee, telling them that the board will vote, to either agree with me or not, that that number is far too small.
Now, Marty, you have moved on from land use and you're now on LRE. Is that correct?
You asked about resolution. That's one I should have had on, but I didn't submit it. I had 3 homework assignments, I only did 2.
It's a letter instead of a resolution.
It will be a resolution.
It will be.
Yes, got you. David will pass you the demerit, and we'll see. It's a serious issue, though. Thank you, Marty. It is a serious issue. Thank you for making us aware of that.
I just feel terrible for that half person.
Okay. Marty, do you have anything from LRE? Now you have the floor.
I have 2 other items, and a point of personal privilege. One item
is the question of, we voted rather overwhelmingly, I was personally pleased to see that, to get rid of EC.
And,
hopefully it's gone. However, the resolution we recommended and the board passed talks about ADA, Americans with Disability Act, which to me looks like a no-brainer, but apparently there are a lot of gray areas. And so we want to eliminate the gray areas. We discussed it Monday night. We had various points of confusion, how to write it, what law to base it on. Rosemary pointed out that the federal law and the state law do not fully agree. There are some contradictions, so we want to work that out. So with the approval of the board,
Even though I heard something earlier tonight, with the approval of the board,
that in the interim between now and what we're able to do in September, and recommend to the board, that people who fit into a gray area ought to be allowed
to participate as ADA members. That means that they can participate on Zoom, and they are counted in the quorum.
So I don't have a specific to you, but I will
Present and get to the board, one second, I will present and get to the board by our board meeting, this,
interim agreement, because it's my sense, and as I shared with the committee, that we're not, we haven't come up with the wording, the proper wording, but we should be on the liberal side rather than on the aggressive side at this point.
and this one needs to note that
while the open meetings law is overseen, not enforced, overseen by COG, COG has basically kept its hands off of this. It's up to you. Follow the law. Well, they have not been helpful, and so we don't want to recreate EC, son of EC, but we definitely want to ensure that those who need to qualify are recognized by the
board and are recognized to participate.
Just a request that however broadly we're defining it, since it's kind of real-time affecting any meetings happening, can we get something sent to the chairs so that we know? Are we just saying, people like, I qualify for ADA, and we're like, okay, or are like,
He's talking about getting wording by the meeting.
Hold on a second, let's have cross discussion.
The position is until the board votes on something.
We're not changing anything.
So between now and the board meeting, anyone who might qualify as ADA,
We're not necessarily recognizing, but we're not saying no yet.
we'll put it in that gray area after the board meeting. Until September, we put something official out.
The decision maker.
I'm sorry, Rosemary, do you have a?
Yes, because Marty and I were at the same meeting.
I know, but could you please speak up so that the microphone and everybody hears you?
Another thing that was discussed is who the decision maker was. So it's not, under EC, it was 13 chairs. The suggestion between now and the fall is,
That the chair of the board identify someone who is going, so it's not amorphic.
Right.
Someone. Now, COG says we don't need doctor's notes, and we are not supposed to look down people's throats to see if their tonsils are still there, but there has to be some formality associated with it, and we'll have a better answer for you in September.
maybe my question wasn't clear, I'm sorry.
But let's try and,
What is the guidance between tomorrow, whoever has a meeting tomorrow, and when we meet as a full board at the end of the month?
Nobody has ADA clearance on this board yet.
So nobody gets EC, or everybody gets EC?
I'm glad you mentioned that. We don't want son of EC.
So, no, for the month.
hold on a second, Marty, do you have an answer for the question?
As of right now,
We, right now, we have not
adjudicated anyone as being in that category. Thank you.
Okay, any other questions for, yes, Margaret?
Will there be someone who's qualified to determine whether someone's ADA or gray area ADA?
As I said, we have recommended the chair select someone, that chair.
Is that a qualification though? Does she have qualifying experience to determine who would be
Right now,
compliant
it's a
or not?
judgment call.
When we come back in September, my fingers crossed, we'll have something more specific.
Thank
Till
you.
then,
Anyone else? Anything else?
your point of personal privilege. I take some of the blame, and those who sat near me know I was terribly distressed with what took place at the last board meeting. As a person who created
The, community,
Community Service Award, in the origin,
we had a resolution, the board,
we had standards, we had a process. It seemed to work then. Now we've added one or two, whatever, new awards, and I see something's on the table concerning one. What happened at that board meeting should not have happened.
it was, my recommendation at the time was, whatever the process
Process will remain until we officially change it. So the fact that names were mentioned and people responded as they did, I thought was unnecessary and rather embarrassing all around. So, whatever role I had in having created that situation, I personally am distressed that happened, and I just want to give us all a heads up, that's all. Thank you.
All right. Aging.
We don't have a meeting, for June, meeting is canceled. We were at the Methodist home, it was a very nice meeting, we hope to get out more meetings out in the field, instead of having them in the office, because it's great to get out there and have contact with everybody. It definitely was a pleasure to get out there and meet people, and my fellow services, because I also work in that field. So, no June meeting, and, hopefully we'll see you in September.
Thank you. Budget.
Oh, Mr. Dunn stepped out.
Okay. Economic development. Anybody reporting for? Education, library, and cultural affairs. Sylvia?
We had no meeting in April or May, for medical reasons. I'm going to try for June, and I'm not quite sure, that's gonna happen, but I will try.
Thank you. And I hope that everything works out. Environment sanitation?
Our next meeting will be the day after the board meeting, so June 27th. So hopefully we'll actually have a quorum, though. Okay, if we don't. Depending. That's all. We'll talk about graffiti.
Yes, I've been taking pictures.
Oh, good. My daughter counted like 10 buildings
Good, great. We will be taking pictures.
in a row from like, whatever, 238 out, like when we were driving, I was like counting them, and she like...
Exactly. Thank you, Dan. Health hospitals, Rabbi?
Sure. Our last meeting of Health and Hospitals had a representative from Health First and folks who have expertise in both Medicare and Medicaid, particularly Medicaid Advantage, and gave an explanation and an insight into some of the new programs and some of the new opportunities that are available with that. It's incredibly important stuff. And today, and I'll let Margaret sort of more happily report on it, we had a joint committee with the Special Committee on Racial Equity around a joint conference that we're planning on the issue of health, on hate and the impact of hate on health and other aspects of our society.
Thank you. Rosemary, any questions for the Rabbi? All right. Housing, Rosemary.
Housing, thank you. So, we had a meeting scheduled in May, it was canceled. The topic was, our assemblyman, was, willing to come and speak to us about the replacement for 421A. It has different numbers now, it's 468X or something, whatever, it has new numbers. But an important topic, because, and with great difficulty, I really would like the record to note this, he really, broke his back to fit us in, but because of lack of attendance at the committee, couldn't ask him to come and just speak to one person, okay? It just isn't right. So cancel the meeting. Our next meeting is June 24th, at which time Councilmember Sanchez says she will come at 6 o'clock. It's the time that fits her calendar to speak with us. If we can get Jeff Dinowitz to come and speak on the replacement for 421A, that would be a great information-packed meeting, but certainly June 24th, Councilmember Sanchez, and hopefully we can fit in the Assemblyman too. Again, thanks without a doubt to Assemblyman Dinowitz for making his schedule fit our time. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for Rosemary? Seeing none, we will move down to traffic and transportation.
Good evening, everyone. TNT met last month. I refer you to our minutes. We had a robust discussion with MTA regarding the capital improvements at the 242nd Street train station. We are scheduled to meet on the 20th, and we've extended an invitation to DDC regarding the 254th Street project. They've come back and indicated that they would like to come in September. I've asked the office to push them for a meeting in June so they can recap the presentation that they provided in March. And that concludes my report, unless someone has any questions.
Any questions for Kelly?
I have a...
Yes, please, Sylvia.
I could really do it personally. On my issue, Kelly, I just wanted, I know that you probably know because the email went to you also about the crossing at 235th Street. They put the rubber, whatever it is, on the street to slow down traffic. It pertains to a left-hand turn where the woman was killed 2 years ago. It now is a burden for people who are pedestrians crossing that street. If you have a cart or a walker or anything like that, now you have to go over this mound. They say that they're going to look at it, I guess in November or something like that. I don't remember exactly when, but were you informed beforehand, before they actually put it down, that it was coming?
No, the answer to that question is no. The only thing I know is that they were going to conduct a study at the intersection and that it would take approximately 1 year for them to complete the study.
Are you going to have DOT at your meeting in June?
We can certainly request. I'm planning on having a June meeting. It depends on if DDC and DOT are available to attend. Otherwise, we will not have a meeting. But we can certainly ask the office to contact New York City DOT and ask them to come and speak to that, unless they can give me some information in it. Also, before I conclude, I just remembered the 232nd Street overpass issue. State DOT did get back to us, and they determined that because of a 20-foot drop, a drop there, and that they are going to keep the barriers there, but they are going to enhance the signage to direct the pedestrians to use the opposite side of the street that it remains open. And that's all I have. Yes, Rosemary.
Rosemary.
May I? Yes?
Please, Rosemary, yes.
So,
I wasn't just screaming out Rosemary.
Kelly, Kelly, I don't even know how to say it. The excuse that is given by New York State DOT is a bit puzzling. If everyone can just picture a sidewalk crossover is a sidewalk crossover. When you reach the end of it, the sidewalk crossover is finished. When you head down the Henry Hudson Service Road or north on the Henry Hudson Service Road, there is a brick wall that goes this high on both sides. They're calling that a drop-off. It's not a drop-off. It has been there forever. Since the wall has been built, since the bridge has been built, there is a space where if you jumped over the wall, you could wind up on the highway. That is the case on the south side and on the north side. Has nothing to do with the sidewalk. You come off the sidewalk into the street and start heading down, and you come to the wall, which indeed, if you want to jump across, you'd be on the highway. It is not an excuse to keep that sidewalk closed. I have pictures, like, again, you have more pictures from me than you need, but I will tell you, Kelly, that excuse from them is specious.
Okay, we will note,
okay.
I appreciate your comments, Rosemary, and we will note that to DOT, convey that information to DOT, the objection, but that is in the interest of transparency. I'm sharing with the committee what has been shared with me. Okay?
Understood, and I appreciate that. It's just, I want to say disingenuous because it is. Okay.
Okay. And
not from you, Kelly. Not from you, not from you.
No,
Okay.
I understand that, and I don't take offense to it at all, Rosemary. I know that you're very concerned about what goes on in the community. Lastly, I did want to raise an issue with the executive committee, and I did speak to it briefly during the SCREE meeting, SCREE HHS meeting earlier today, that at the TNT meeting, we had an individual come that wanted us to ask DOT to build a wall at 262nd and Broadway because they have concerns about the homeless shelter around the corner that's being erected, and they also have concerns with the migrants coming into their community. So I just wanted to make everyone aware of that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kelly. Okay, Special Committee on the Greenway. Oh, youth.
So, in our May meeting, we reviewed the 2 applicants for the comeback kid. When I set the timetable back in February, I didn't know that we were supposed to submit a resolution, so my meeting happened after, and the policy, or since I've been chair of the committee, we've always kind of, it's kids, and so all complete applications get a certificate. I mean, we had 2 complete applications. We never get like 7 or anything. We tentatively capped it at 5, but they're complete. We thought, yay. But I don't actually have a resolution, so I just wanted to open the floor to any objections.
The applications are here.
Yeah, if you want to review them.
Thank you. Any questions for Dr. Gomez?
I just want to bring up that it's good to know that we can give them an award, because if you wait to approve them at the full board meeting, it would be very, or hurtful maybe, to the kids to come and wait for the vote. And if it wasn't approved, then all of a sudden you don't give them the award. So I think we're trying to come to some conclusion on this before that something like that would happen. Right, Julie? What is your opinion on this? Oh, wait, you're muted.
Give me lip service.
So, I was saying that these are children, and the committee went and they selected, you said just 2, Julia, right? I think we should give them the award and deal with the policies, because like Marty said, what happened at the last meeting, especially with children, it cannot happen with children. And if they're there, I'm ready to give them the award. Can't do that to children.
Yeah. Okay.
And Marty,
Any-
I heard you
any-
earlier
any-
when you said something about, like, you took a little heat on what happened, and it really isn't. It's just that Zoom is thrown in with the policy and everything else, and we're all going to work on it over the summer, so that it never happens again. But that's my thought on these awards. The kids are there, they get it, as far as I'm concerned.
I do have, I do have a comment before we move on. It's one comment, I'm not gonna see the chair for it, but I do think we've, as of the last couple of years, have had a tendency to over-regulate every single thing. We have 13 chairs who are adult professional people who can handle things. They do not need to be micromanaged. And this is the result of that. We do not need a policy for everything, in my opinion. But I will stop there because I think this is an appropriate place to put that in. Thank you. Dr. Gomez?
There's no meeting in June, and just, if you didn't figure it out by now, this is my last meeting. I'm stepping down as youth chair, especially since I think several of us in this room are all going to term out in 3 years, so thought it was time for someone else to step up and figure it out.
Thank you for your service, by the way. Special Committee on the Greenway.
I'm hoping to have a meeting this month. That's contingent on whether we're going to be able to arrange a meeting with Metro North and the MTA to discuss their plans to fortify the riverfront along the Hudson, because they have, this was a subject of our January meeting. The Metro North engineers have concluded that they have to build some sort of structure along the riverfront. Otherwise, due to the rising sea levels and rising river levels, the Hudson Line tracks are going to flood on a regular basis. So we're trying to arrange a meeting with the MTA Metro North to see if there's a way in which their project could also possibly be the foundation for the Hudson River Greenway. If that meeting takes place, then we will have a committee meeting sometime this month so we can discuss the outcome of that particular meeting. I'll know more, I hope, in the next several days, and if there is going to be a meeting, notice will go out to everybody.
Thank you, Bob. You're expecting efficiency in government? I'm sorry, you knew?
One can always hope, Sergio.
We are so hopeful, I love that. But yes, like the rabbi said, we can expect. We can hope. All right, any questions for Bob Bender? Thank you, Bob, for your report. Scree?
We had, last month we sent out a resource to combat hate, and we'd love your feedback on it. Thank you to Marty for your feedback. Today, HHSS and Scree met. I got some additional feedback on this resource guide, but we've shared it with all chairs. So please give us any input. We'd like to finalize it, at least for now. And I ask that you contribute any feedback by Friday the 7th, which is in 2 days. The annual interim Scree report is, we're working on that to update it. So we're updating the capital request map and the committee activity document, which reflects all of the work that each standing committee does throughout the year. So I'm going to be sending that around, hopefully by tomorrow. The office will send it around to chairs. If there's anything that I've missed, I've been reviewing minutes. This is what I usually do. I try to make it easy on everyone. Just go back to your minutes, try to capture things that sort of speak to me that I feel like are working to address equity, but by no means is it exhaustive. You all know what you've been working on far better than I do. So if you have any edits, please just track those changes and send it back to me. I'd love for it to be back, because everyone just has a couple of bullet points. If you could send it back to me by the 14th, which is a week from Friday, and then hopefully we'll just put it to bed before the full board meeting. So today we discussed what we'd like to be the September 30th conference with HHSF, and the idea is to talk through hate, sort of describing what it is, how it impacts people, and what are some of the repercussions in having experts who could speak to legal parameters, who could speak to physiological and sort of the health of individuals, and then someone who could speak to sort of the toxic polarization going on in our communities that is driving or sort of accelerating a lot of animosity and all of the things that we're seeing and feeling. So, that's something that we're working on. If you know of anyone in your field who could speak to some of these issues, we really want 3 key individuals who could speak. September 30th, 7 to 9 p.m. virtual. I'm sure we'll be hybrid here because we'll be in person. But if you know of anyone in your Rolodex who could speak to any one of those issues, we'd love to speak with them and talk with them further. So please keep us in mind.
Just an addendum to that. One area where we are struggling a little bit is the issue of hate's impact upon health. And that's something that there's a lot of studies that have been done around trauma and the trauma, the intergenerational trauma of hate. So if anyone knows folks that have been doing that, particularly in Einstein, they've done some really, really incredible work. So it would be very helpful.
Thank you. Thank you, Rabbi. Any questions for Scree? Any comments?
And so the conferences we're referring to it as, like I said, will be, the goal is September 30th at 7 p.m. So that will be the next Scree and HHSS meeting.
Thank you. Okay, veterans. We are trying to squeeze in one meeting. We'll be working with the office. Please be on the lookout for that. It's basically our pre-planning for November. There's a November date that has been tentatively selected. It's the weekend before Veterans Day, which is tentatively the 3rd of November has been penciled in already. But we will be trying to squeeze in a meeting because we need to get the discussion going on that. You all know Herb Barrett. He held an event that was not a community board event on Sunday, commemorating D-Day. Tomorrow is the 80th anniversary of Operation Overlord. So it's a big deal that impacted all of our lives straight through to this day. I commend all of you to go and do a little research on it. It's a major thing. It's tomorrow's the 80th anniversary, June 6th, and that is it. The event that Herb Barrett put together was a nice event. It was sparsely attended, but it's important to have the commemoration anyway. I was there. I did speak in my individual capacity since it was not a board event, but that's it. Any questions for veterans? Okay, thank you.
Is it for committee?
That's it for committees, right?
I'd like to just add something, if you don't mind. So I should have brought this up during the Public Safety Committee report, but it just dawned on me as all everybody was giving their reports that the board meeting was pushed back. Normally, the Public Safety meeting meets after the board meeting, so I just wanted to give everybody the heads up. We're going to be off for a couple of months, and there's going to be some businesses that are going to have liquor license renewals during the summer, and we're going to be seeing these applications beforehand so they don't have any problems with their licenses expiring. So we may have potentially an additional six applications, so I just didn't want to throw this at everybody at the last second at the board meeting, where the hell did this come from? So that's our situation.
Thank you. Okay. Any unfinished business?
Maybe the last
Ms. Rose,
one.
I'm sorry. Rosemary, then Mary.
Thank you. I should have raised this in my report, or I kind of expected you. I know, my God, look at this. I just want to say, that we started, the Housing Committee did the update, it's 7 years old, on the Housing Guide. The work was completed, and now it has to be printed and translated into Spanish. Farah did a fabulous job following all the rules, bid out both of them, got 4 bids on the printing, 3 bids on the translation, chose the low bidder in each of the cases. All the work is going to be completed in that you set out. It has to be done by this day. All done. Fabulous job. Deserves a lot of credit for having pulled that together. Thank you, Farrah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other,
Wonderful guy as well.
any other unfinished business?
The Vladimir Award, I just wanted to thank you, Julie, for appointing me to the Vladimir Award Committee. This is my first chair, and thank you so much.
All right, any new business?
I have old business. Well, actually,
Oh.
hold on you. That's okay.
Go ahead.
Well, it's just three quick things. I had my hand up after Julia spoke and Sergio, so I'll
I'm
just go
sorry,
back.
I wasn't looking, sorry.
That's okay. It'll be quick, and we'll have a discussion over the summer over this anyway. But just three quick things. One of them, just a quick response on your comments about the micromanagement. I think it's, personally, I don't see it as micromanagement through the years. I think it has more to do with policy and standards that the board needs to uphold. So I think, you know, some things just have a little kinks to it. So we just need a little bit more structure and policy so that people just don't do whatever they want to do. So that's just my response to you, Sergio. And I know we're going to work together over the summer anyway regarding the procedures on how we do the awards. And Julia, we will call upon you as well, because I want to reach out to all the chairs who had it in the past. Marty and I can work with it, and Farrah. And Zoom plays a part in it too. Yes, years past, it wasn't as bad as it was the other month, but names had been said in the past. But with Zoom, it's just immortalized, and it's terrible. And that's something that I never wanted, for the person's name to be said at a meeting, and then that happens. So with that said, I'm just like respectfully disagreeing with you, Sergio. It's not micromanagement, it's more policy and structure. And then Rosemary, you guys did a fabulous job with the housings books, the resource guides. Yeah, and Jalen, also the intern that's staying with us forever. You know, she stayed in there and assisted us. And then lastly, I just want to, we have 4 chairs who have decided not to go and stay with their committees: Nick Fazio, Kelly Buford, Julia Gomez, and Oscar Martinez. Nick, Kelly, Julia, and Oscar, that's the 4 chairs. I just want to say thank you guys for the work that you've done through the years, not just for the past year, but through the years. And Mary Ellen, you helped out Oscar a lot, so you're included in that group as well. Thank you, Paul. And that's my 2 cents.
Thank you. Any new business? Okay. Our next executive committee meeting will be the 4th of September, 2024, in our next board year. Yeah, we'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Gelman, second by Rosemary. Seeing no opposition, passes unanimously. Thank you. Great meeting, everyone. Thank you so much.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
And Sergio, thanks again.